You are now listening to the Highly Evolved Podcast. You can find this channel on Twitter, Gab.ai, BitChute, and Minds.com. This is a Real American Patriot channel for Real American Patriot. If you're not a Real American Patriot, please exit the channel. Furthermore, we are not sponsored by any outside interference. That means we're unscripted, unrehearsed, and unedited. With that being said, transmission will commence momentarily.
How you guys doing? Thank you for joining me on the Highly Evolved Podcast. I'm your host, Stefan. You can find me on BitChute, Mind.com, Twitter, Gab.ai, or Gab.com. Most importantly, subscribe me on YouTube because I'm not going anywhere. I'm riding it until the wheel fall off. On that note, guys, let's start the show. In this episode, I want to talk to you about what Trump just said about immigration and what he's vowed to do by the end of next week. All right, this is an article I want to show you guys from Politico. Like I always, if you hear any beeping in the background, that's my dog playing with her toy. All right. But I want to show you this article from Politico. I'll leave a link in the description below if you are interested. But let's go ahead and let's do that right now. All right. There you go. Trump promised mass deportation of millions of illegal aliens next week. Remember, this is Politico. Politico is also fake news. All right, Politico is one of the mainstream media, but I just want to show you this article to give you some contents of what it is. All right. Donald Trump pledges Monday night to begin deportation of millions of undocumented aliens who have entered the U.S. illegally and offered uncharacteristic praises for Mexico effort to stem up the tide of Central American migrants surging across the southern borders. To me, in my opinion, I have no problem with this because I'm legally here. All right, this does not affect me. None of my family members are illegally. I do not know any illegal immigrants. All right, and if I do come across between illegal immigrants, you know what? Tough. You already know the law. You already know the act is illegal, and you still did an illegal act. All right, but that's just my opinion. But let's continue with the article. Next week, ICE will begin the process removing millions of illegal aliens and having to who have illicitly found their way into the United States, who will be removed fast as they come in. Trump wrote on Twitter. You know what? They want to use all these emotion to attack people who support this. You know what? Your emotion tactics don't affect me. I learned to harbor and bury my emotion a long time ago. Not people know that emotion is very dangerous to a person's way of thinking. All right? When you're enslaved to your emotion, you're devoid of all rationality in life. All right? That means your emotion take toll. Your emotion make all the decision, no matter how irrational the decision may make. That's why they want to use their emotion against you. All right? And I just want to say your tactics of using emotion against me aren't working. All right? Because I've been burying it for so long. All right, I know how to handle my emotion. I know how to control my emotion. So all these emotion tactics don't help me. But let's continue. Mexico using their strong immigration laws as doing their good jobs of stopping people long before they get into our southern borders. Guatemala is getting ready to sign in a self-third agreement. That's good. Self-third agreement, safe third agreement, meaning that they have to allow these people who seek asylum to stay in Guatemala as well. All right. The president continued, the only one who won't do anything are the Democrats in Congress. They must vote to get rid of these loopholes and fix their asylum. If so, border crisis will end quickly. Of course, we need legislative action to do this, and they won't do it. So Donald Trump went to another route. He found a loophole against these Democrats and the legislative. Like, all right, if we can't enact anything in our country, he'll make the other country do their part. He'll force the other country to enact their part of the country. All right, so basically, Donald Trump is controlling the other country as well. Since he can't control the legislative, he'll control the other country outside the United States, meaning the people in the southern border, meaning Mexico, Guatemala, and all these people. All right, so that's a good maneuver. All right. And if they don't want Donald Trump to use this kind of tactics, maybe they should do their job. You're elected to do the job. You're elected to pass legislative. This is how inefficient government is. They take them so long just to pass a comprehensive bill, all right? And then not only that, what I want them to do is like read the bill when they pass it. Don't just pass it, skim right through it. Your job is to read the bill and pass it, all right? Read the bill, see if it's a good bill, and pass it. Not just look at the headlines, the title, and not read it. It's like looking at contract. Before you sign any contract, read the contract. All right. But let's continue. Trump tweeted, "Which come one day before the planned rally in Orlando, Florida, to kick off Trump re-election campaign was a departure from ICE normal practices of keeping enforcement operations closely held until they have been executed. The President ICE comment comes amid sign of raising concern within the administration about the ability to keep government secrets. This is fake news. These are for political. This is what they do. All right. Slander. 1 hour after the ICE tweeted, President following another denial of June 15, New York Times reported that the Pentagon official refrained from briefing him on the details of recent U.S. cyber attack, Russia power grid, for concern over their reaction. All right, how do they know this? Were they a member? Was Politico a member of this reporter? All right, was he in there listening for his first person reaction? Was he involved in this? No, this comes from his own butt. All right. Try plant this idea that the government are not cooperating with each other. But I digress. And the possibility that it might countermand it or discuss it with foreign official, as he did in 2017 when he mentioned sensitive operations to Syria, Russia, and foreign minister. Don't believe these people. Trump ICE comment publicized a planned immigration and custom enforcement operation targeting Central American family and unaccompanied minors who have turned 18. All right. According to three people family within the plan, they appeared to elaborate on a comment earlier that this month by newly installed acting ICE Director Mark Morgan, that ICE will intensify enforcement against migrants already living in the United States, including families. All right. If you have nothing to worry about, you have papers, show the papers. If you have nothing to hide, it wouldn't matter to you guys. All right. If you are not here illegally, you shouldn't be mattered, and you should not be be sympathetic. All right. We do not exempt anybody. Morgan said, "We don't think you want the director ICE exempting a demographic that is in violation of our immigration law." Exactly. You broke the law on my own political, personal ideology, or moral stance. The idea of targeting Central American families was first surfaced publicly a little more than a year ago when the acting ICE director Thomas Hammond broached it during the May 2018 House Homeland Security Subcommittee hearings. Right? Of course, I expected a lot of letters saying, "Why are we targeting the family of criminals?" Hammond said, "But if they are given their due process and federal judge making their decision, if we don't execute these decisions, no integrity will be in the system." Exactly. How are you going to have faith in the law if the law is not even doing their own part? That's what he's trying to say. All right? How are people going to respect the law if the law are giving backhanded or special treatment to a certain demographic and another demographic? So basically, we could deport, for example, we could deport Asians, but we can't deport Hispanics. We could deport blacks, but we can't deport Guatemalans. How's that fair? Stephen wants to do things that are inconsistent with what operational feasible, the official said. And Nielsen was going to have to explain the policy to the public and Congress. She had a reasonable question about what it meant, the person said. Right? But Nielsen and Valello were jettisoned in April as part of the border shaken up by the Homeland Security Department. Trump vowed in the time to go in a tougher decision. Of course, you have to be tough with these people. That ICE, before appointing Morgan, a former Border Patrol chief and Fox News commentator, who in January said, Tucker Carlson tonight, that I have been in a detention facility and we have walked up and these individuals that are so-called minors, 17 and under, and we have looked at them and looked in their eyes, Tucker, and I have said that soon to be MS-13 gang members, it's unequivocal. All right. Look, these people have no identification. How do we know they're actually minors, right? And then they say they're 16-year-old. There have been situations where 20-year-old have been enrolled in high schools, right? Because they don't have identification. They just make up their birthday. Right? So these people have no documents. How do we know how old they claim to be? All right, and like the guy said, these minors they were gang members as well. All right, just because they're minor, that doesn't mean they can't be gang members. All right. Trump also said last week that Harmon would return his administration to a border czar. Although the former ICE official was surprised by Trump's announcement and hasn't said he'll take the job, according to personal family and within the situations. An ICE spokeswoman did not address Trump's tweet, but said in a written statement that the agency would continue to pursue immigration violators of all types. This is about addressing the border crisis by upholding the rules of law. Exactly. By the that's my dog. The spokeswoman said the White House did not respond to the request of comments. The administrative of former President Barack Obama similarly targeted Central American families for deportation in January 2016, but the operation had kicked off the effort and lead to 121 arrests, not the millions promised by Trump in Monday night. All right, whether ICE could feasibly target millions remain unclear. The Trump administration have petitioned Congress in recent weeks for more than $300 million to expand ICE detention bed capacity as part of the border's $4.5 billion sentimental funding request to deal with the influx of immigrants in the borders. One former DHS official said the universe of family and accompanied minors eyed for removal would be close to 1,000, and that millions could cited by Trump. Regardless of the scales, the optic of family arrested could be reminiscent of Trump's zero-tolerance policy, which split apart thousands of parents and children from April to June 2018. Look, they say split parent and children. First of all, how do we know these are legitimate family members? All right, remember, they're undocumented. There's no proof. How do we know what they're saying is actually factual? That's why we need vet these people. Right? That's why we have to implement a zero tolerance policy. All right? These people just believe. If I was a guy with bombs strapped to my chest when going into the building, and then you're going to ask me, are you going to blow this up? And then I said, no, I'm not going to blow this up. Would you believe me? You wouldn't. This is idiotic just to put that much stress into people. I know people could say, oh, that's a false equivalency. Oh, that's conflating two different things. No, it's not. It's about being truthful or not truthful. It's about being vetting. When you vet people, you want to get the real answers. And they're not giving out real answers. And they don't have any legitimate document proving who they really are. If they're not careful of how to do this, some of these images could be truly awful, said the current DHS official. I'm talking about having social service involving and taking about detained parents. All right, these parents should be locked up, putting their children in this kind of harm. You know how harsh the desert is? All right, you know how many wild animals is out there? All right, still an operation goes after recent Central American entrants who have exhausted their option to remain could send a message to the prospective crossers, according to John Sandwig, the official ICE acting director during the Obama administration. Right. If they have no option, stay where you are. That's an option. Don't say there's never an option. There's always an option. Right? If done right, it's possible If done right, it's possibly not a bad idea to ensure that there's some integrity in the process, he said. But in the arrest should focus on people who already had a shot in their claim, Sandweg said. Not immigrants who were ordered deported because they did not appear in immigration court hearings. Right? Some of them are criminals. ICE did not typically announce enforcement operation before they're occurring. And Trump has rebuked sharply those who give advance warning. In early 2018, the president criticized Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf, a Democrat, of course, who released information about planning immigration raid in the area. Trump later suggests that the Justice Department considered pressing federal charges against Schaaf. They should go forward, man. Don't talk. We need to see action. Sandwich, we need to make an example of these mayors, of these election officials. Some of these politicians need to go to jail. All right? In my book, some of these politicians are corrupt. Politicians, they need to go to jail to make an example of. Sandwag said ICE operations are kept secret from the safety of the official tasked with arresting immigrants. If you're doing an operation like this, the last thing you need to do is announce it. He said, we wouldn't even tell Congress for the fear that it would leak. Trump praises the Mexico and mention of the border asylum dealing comes from U.S. and Mexico officials struck in June 7 agreement in increasing border enforcement in both countries. The president had threatened to impose a slate of escalating tariff on American southern neighbors of Mexico did not take more drastic measures. That's what Trump is doing. Curb the flow of immigrants and traveling through Mexico and the U.S. from the country, including Guatemala, Honduras, and Salvador. He already couldn't fund from these countries. All right, that's one thing. You need to be hard with these countries. Trump administration announced in March that it would eliminate hundreds of millions of dollars aid to Northern Triangle nations. Of course, right, but the State Department said Monday it would reduce those cuts and provide roughly $432 million in aid previously allocated to the fiscal year 2017. The remaining sum of aid will be withdrawn until the U.S. determine whether the Central American country would sufficiently to address their massive immigration, according to the Trump administration. All right, they should do that. All right, I also cutting funds. We gotta be hard with these countries. He's clairvoyant on this. He knows how much power he got over these countries. All right, these countries wouldn't survive without our consumer dollars. Right? He knows how much power. That's why he's using the other country to do their part of the job. Meanwhile, he had to deal with Congress. Congress is totally corrupt, right? Because all these never-Trumpers, all these Democrats, all these unpatriotic politicians, all right? That's what they are. He's exposing these people that they're not doing their job. They're not protecting Americans. And yet they want to protect people who's not even supposed to be here. They want to protect criminals. All right? And I'm getting sick of this. I'm getting way sick of this, and people need to vote their elected officials out. These politicians need to have a term limit, right? People should not make a career being a politician, right? But I digress. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. You think this is the right thing that Trump is doing? You think it's a bad thing? Let me know if you agree. Once again, I'm demonetized from YouTube, so that means I'm not bound by any outside interference. I can say what I want without being corrupted. I'm going to say what I want, unscripted, unrehearsed, unedited. All right? Because of that, I'm not taking any donation, because the point of this channel is to get people to think. And one way you can support me is by subscribing. When you subscribe, I could saturate YouTube algorithm, and I could get to more people. Right? When I saturate YouTube algorithm, I'm more prone to get to a lot of more people. But on that note, guys, let me know what you think. I know your time is very precious, and I try not to waste any of your time. This is the HighlyEvolvedPodcast. I'm your host, Stefan. And thanks for listening, and I'm signing out. Peace.